What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to another post game here on Ranger Central, the first of the 2025-26 season as the New York Rangers took on the New Jersey Devils at the Prudential Center for the first preseason game of the year. And they come through with a win 5-2. There's some positives, there's some negatives, there's this, there's that, whatever you want. It was pretty much your stereotypical preseason game in New Jersey. Just a sloppy game, honestly. There were a couple guys that stood out, a couple guys maybe to keep an eye on, to worry about a little bit. But we'll dive into it, of course. Before we jump into everything here, I ask that you please leave a like on your way into the post game show here. Subscribe if you guys are new to the channel, especially if you're Ranger fans, and turn on your notifications so you know when we upload or go live here on Ranger Central. And yeah, I mean, definitely weird to watch hockey again, to be honest with you, because it was a longer off season than the previous few. It was an interesting off season in the regards to where we know how it went down. I thought they would maybe do a little bit more. They did what they did. And they're kind of banking on Mike Sullivan being the magic fix amongst adding Gavrikov to the mix. There was a couple of players that were added in the offseason that were featured in today's game, like Connor Sheary on a PTO. You had Taylor Radish, who was signed this offseason. You have, who am I forgetting that? Oh, yeah, Derek Pouliot was added this offseason. So a couple of new faces here in this game. But honestly, just to jump on the positive right away and talk about one of those guys, how about Connor Sheary in today's game? Connor Sheary was really freaking good today, and it sucked the penalty that he took. And I was like, please don't tell me this is going to derail everything that was good about what we saw. And that line in general, with Connor Sheary on it, Gabe Perreault on the other wing, and then Yuso Parson in the middle, that line was just cooking the entire game. And that is probably your biggest positive of the game. I think they generated like north of 3 to 4 high danger chances in this game. Granted, they could have honestly generated more if it wasn't for the fact that both teams couldn't stay out of the damn box for a lot of this game, which, we'll talk about that as well. But yeah, they ended up creating 3 high danger chances, and they just had the puck in New Jersey zone the entire game. Good puck possession the entire way. And Connor Sheary, you know what I said in the group chat that I'm in with a couple of other Ranger creators, of course, that I'm in? Something that kind of I was thinking when I was watching him play. Did anyone else get like Frank Vetrano light vibes? I'm not sitting here telling you that Connor Sheary is going to be what Frank Vetrano is, because that's unrealistic for him to put up those kind of points. But I just mean in the sense where I felt like he was not afraid to shoot the puck every single opportunity he had, which he had a goal as well on the breakaway, which was beautiful. Yuso Parson, and good setup there as well to help, make New Jersey pay for that turnover there. But every chance he had to rip the puck, he was taking advantage of it. And every single time, he was just playing north south the entire way through, just simply chipping the puck in, not doing too much, not forcing too many plays, which unfortunately the rest of the group kind of, fell victim to that in today's game. But Connor Sheary, I'm very impressed. And honestly, he's probably going to make the team. I mean, based on everything that we have heard in, the camp, just from reporters about how they're raving about him in camp, and then based on what we saw in today's game, we need to see more, of course, because he did get a PTO. But I thought Connor Sheary had a really good game. Gabe Perreault, on top of that, had a really good game. He opened the scoring in this one very early as well. Casey Fitzgerald in his bag on that move there to set Gabe Perreault up, who's parked in front of the net, which that's something that I also did like that the Rangers were doing, a good amount throughout points this game. I shouldn't say a good amount, but most of their goals came in a similar style in regards of getting in front of the damn net. I wish they did it a little bit more throughout this game, because I thought at points, they were playing a little too shy, playing along the perimeters a little too much for a preseason game. Like, get to the damn middle of the ice. Don't play scared. Try to make a name for yourself. And Gabe Perreault, who's fighting for a roster spot right now, he looked good there, getting in the right spot, shooting on the right part as well. I believe he got that one blocker side. He was buzzing the entire game as well. And like I said, that line in general, Yuso Parsonen as well chipped in with a point. Like I said, he got the assist. I believe that was on, yeah, that was the Sheary breakaway goal. But really good stuff from Gabe Perreault today. And just in general, with the way that he was playing, he wasn't shy to get behind the net and, really work below the goal line. And honestly, the biggest thing that was impressive to me, I have questioned a lot Gabe Perreault's ability to drive play. It's something that started to worry me because of the lack of foot speed, because of, just based on what we've seen from Gabe Perreault between the rookie games where he didn't shine and between just looking at some of the games he got last season. I wanted to see him show some play driving ability. And even in college, even in the World Juniors, I saw too many passenger tendencies. Today, he was driving the damn play for that line. And that to me is encouraging. He's got to keep it up, of course. I'm not going to sit here and say one game against a basically Devils AHL squad means that all of a sudden Gabe Perreault is going to live up to, the pedigree that he had when they drafted him and we were talking about. But so far, I mean, really impressed with what I've seen from him in that regard. And huge response from the fact that he was not good in those rookie games, because to me in those rookie games, he looked like he probably had no shot to make the team. And, all it takes is turning things around here against AHL level teams and a couple of pro players on the other team to really turn things around. The problem is this: outside of that, now you have your group of players that were kind of meh. And I thought the fourth line kind of fell in that regard with Rempe, Rubrick, and Aspinall. I didn't think Aspinall did anything special today, to be honest with you. I mean, he had a fight, if that means anything, which was barely even a fight. I mean, he was down before his gloves were even off, I think, to be honest with you. But I really did like what I saw from Matt Rempe for the most part. I thought he just played an okay, simple game. And I'm just glad that he wasn't playing like a doofus and getting in trouble throughout this game. Because if he's going to play on the fourth line for this team, and Mike Sullivan did rave about him, which I actually want to try to pull the quote up if I can on the fly here about it. But he was raving about Rempe's play. I thought he was okay, but Mike Sullivan thought really highly. And yeah, here's the quote from this is on Molly Walker's Twitter account. So Sullivan said, "I thought Remps had a great game. He was really strong on pucks. He hangs on the pucks down low. I thought Remps did a good job of protecting pucks." I don't know why he was a little redundant there, but either way, he made good decisions when when plays weren't there off the rush. He would drive pucks low and he would go to work down underneath the hash marks. When he has done that, I think he's a handful for our opponents. He's just so big and so strong, and he creates momentum for us. I thought the goal they scored, Remp's effort on that goal was outstanding. I've noticed his speed in the first few days of camp. He's in great shape, but has a strong skater. Sometimes bigger guys like that, they don't look like Sullivan. Man, he had a lot to say. They don't look like they're going that fast because they have long levers, but they're covering ground out there. I'm not going to read the rest of the quote because there's so much, but either way, Matt Rempe, he had a solid game. And again, staying out of trouble is the thing that I simply look for with him right now, because I don't have an issue with him as long as he does stay out of that trouble. That's just really where my issues usually come in with him, is that he's always in the box doing something. And then, like Sullivan said, I mean, the effort on that goal and then Dylan Rubrick jumping in, and I thought he had a solid game as well. I thought he was involved in a lot of the plays. I thought he was similar to Sheary in regards to, just playing simple, playing north-south, and that line in general, solid stuff from them. Just fourth line level stuff. That's all I wanted to see, and that's what we got. So I was pleased to see that as well throughout the game. Outside of that, not a whole lot that I loved, to be honest with you. Like in the first 5 minutes of the game, I thought we had something going with Derek Pouliot, to be honest with you. I thought he was looking crisp with in terms of moving the puck out of their zone, moving it up ice, covering for a couple of the mistakes that Fitzgerald was making, but that faded very quickly. I didn't really get a lot. I don't have a lot to say good about this defensive group, to be honest with you, throughout the game. I mean, sure, you could look at the +3 from Borgen and Vakanainen and think they had a good game. They didn't do anything that really stood out to me. I didn't like Vakanainen racking up 2 penalties in this game, but they didn't do anything outstanding, which, I guess if that's what the third pair is going to be, that's what you want. But they're also playing against some AHL guys. I'd like to see a little bit more from those two in particular. Scott Morrow, someone that has a chance to make the team. He scored a goal in this game. While it was nice to see that, he had an up and down game, in my opinion, as well. Like, I didn't love some of his decisions with the pucks. And even on that goal, I didn't love how long he was hesitating on that there. And I know that sounds stupid because he got the goal either way and people don't want to hear that. But I don't know. Some of his decisions, I think, just need to be a little bit quicker. And that's where you wonder, like, is he going to make the team out of camp here? So that's gonna be interesting to keep an eye on. But I thought I didn't love what I saw from him. Connor Mackey, he was a disaster. Not worried there. He's gonna be in the AHL. Casey Fitzgerald, after he had that really nice assist, not enough from him. He's going to be in the AHL. And like I said, after the first 5 minutes where Derek Pouliot looked like he was about to, maybe go on a Norris run, right? Just for overreaction purposes there. After the first 5 minutes, he wasn't anything great, which again, fine. He's not going to make the team, but I don't know. It sucks because I really thought, like, he was gapping his men up early as well. And I thought maybe there's something here, but that did not end up being the case in that regard. And then in terms of just the other forwards, when you look at it, not a lot. Johnny Brodzinski got on the score sheet, similar to the other goals in this game, got a rebound outside of the Morrow one. I think, no, not the Gabe one also wasn't, but, and the Sheary, but a lot of it was just, simply getting to the parts of the net that you need to. That's kind of what I was alluding to in that regard. But, yeah, Johnny Brodzinski got on the board. I didn't love the way that line played. Noah Alaba, for someone that shined in the rookie games, I wasn't that impressed in today's game. I thought early on he had a couple of nice little plays there, but that decision he made on that power play goal that New Jersey ended up scoring to open their scoring, really, really poor mistake there. And again, I was underwhelmed considering what we saw in those rookie games. And hopefully he could shine in the next preseason game. But he was probably a long shot to make the team either way, but you can't make that mistake if you want to make the team. That's kind of just simply how I view that. Anton Bleed had a point as well. He was on that line, Brodzinski. I don't know. I wasn't impressed by that line. I didn't love it all. The Radish Dowling Othmann line, Brennan Othmann had a really rough game, and that's unfortunately the big negative of this game. For someone that is so far removed from their draft year, for someone that we're talking about that was untradeable at some point from this organization, Brennan Othmann was horrible today. And that mistake he made on that second New Jersey goal, inexcusable. I know he got hurt there, but he's got to get that puck in deep. I don't know if they were benching him or if he was shaken up after that play, and that's why we didn't see him much in that third period. But if he was benched, it was justifiable for that because he did not look good at all throughout this game. And then he gets back out there and he's taking a 5-minute major. It's preseason, I know. You can't be chicken winging someone there. You can't take a 5-minute major there. Not at all, especially when you're trying to make the team. We are far removed from your draft year, and you need to start to do something to make some semblance of an NHL career. Very underwhelming, and especially considering, how he was in those rookie games, and it was the reverse now between him and Gabe, where Gabe looked very underwhelming. These are the games that matter more, man. And if Othmann wants to make any sort of impression, he's got to step up. And for someone that, again, we're far removed from his draft year, very poor decision making with the puck the entire day. I really just I did not like Othmann's game at all. And I think that line in general, I don't know if it was just a him thing, but Radish didn't impress me at all either. Justin Dowling, New Jersey fans were celebrating when he left, so I'm not surprised. He's an AHL piece, hopefully. I mean, if they view him as a piece for this team, that's a problem. But I don't know if some of it had to do with the line mates, but not a good game from him. Radish, like I said, I didn't like Radish's game. And to me, Sheary looked like he deserved a contract. Again, this is one game reaction. This is one preseason game in overreaction city here. One game in, I could tell you, I thought Connor Sheary looked like he deserved to be signed to that contract that Radish was signed to versus the other way around. In terms of other things throughout this game, I didn't love the penalty kill throughout this game. I mean, that goes without saying considering how they looked there. And then, like I said, Vakanainen on that one, not great. Jonathan Quick as well, and that towards the end of the first period there, really bad mistake, really, really bad. But Unk still had it for the most part today. He still stopped 12 shots. Garan, love seeing him stop 13 shots, even though he faced 15, sub 900 save percentage. I don't blame him for that 5-on-3 goal at all. What are you going to do about it? But yeah, I mean, overall, just a very sloppy game from both teams. Like neither team at all looked good. Both teams were very sloppy with the puck. It was painful to watch, truthfully. At times, failed breakouts nonstop. Both teams just dumping it at the neutral zone, not not winning board battles on the forecheck. It was typical preseason hockey. It looked like an AHL game out there. Just that simple. And I'm not going to get too much into the X's and O's with that. I care about that stuff more with the veterans than I do, the guys that aren't going to make the team, even though I'd still like them to execute them because if you're called up, you got to be able to. But I don't know. Again, it's the first preseason game. A new system's being implemented. I will wait to determine what I'm seeing a little bit more in that regard going forward. Today, I really just wanted to talk more about, who I thought stood out, who I thought didn't look great. But how about as well with that line of Sheary, Parson, and Gabe Perreault, 92.86 Corsi for percentage. And I'm not a big Corsi guy in the Big 25 because, possession's great. But to have it that high, that's something to me. And the reason why I'm not a big Corsi guy is because it's like possession's great, but what are you doing with that possession? Well, with that much possession, the other team isn't even getting in the offensive zone with you out there. I just wish, we saw more of that from the rest of the group throughout the day. But nonetheless, yeah, they end up getting the job done, getting a win. No 2 points. It is what it is. And those were kind of my thoughts. Let me see what some of you guys have to take away from this game. It's weird to again talk about this because it feels like just yesterday, even though it was a long off season. But nonetheless, let's see what you guys are saying in the chat about this one. Really disappointed in Othmann, I won't lie. I'm right there with you. I didn't love Othmann's game at all. And you got to stand out. You got to do something for me. This is the time. Gabe and Sheary really impressed. Those guys were both really effective in the offensive zone. It's one game, but if Sheary keeps this up, Rangers should offer him a 1-year deal. He's going to get I think he's getting a 1-year deal regardless at this rate because not only the fact that Mike Sullivan, the connection there, I think because, we got to see how Berard does. He's a guy that can make the team, but based on what Othmann we saw from him today, Not convinced. Gabe, I don't know. And my thought also is I still stand by the fact where I would rather these younger guys get minutes in the AHL versus getting buried and getting no minutes in the NHL. So I'm really thinking he's going to make the team at this point. I'm prepared for more sloppy games. We'll see about that one. We will see. Hopefully not. I mean, listen, I all I could do is give them a chance, right? There's literally nothing I could do, even though I don't feel good, obviously, about the season going into it. It's no secret. I'm giving them a chance because I don't have a choice, but unfortunately, I'm with you on that, just in the regards. But we'll see. We'll see. Yeah, it's a wild day that I'm glad is over. After I do this live stream, I could go get some food, and then I could relax for the rest of the night, watch some more football, maybe. So that'd be nice. I was glad I was able to really keep up with all three games throughout the day. And that's also why I might have less to take away from this game than I normally would as well, because I was trying to watch all three of my teams play at once, which was not easy to do, but we managed. Yes, Rempe was solid today. Othmann had a very rough game, and it's not a good look for him. This is one of his last chances to make the team. And he no shows, plus takes a bad 5 minute major that he might be suspended on. That too. I mean, that could warrant a suspension. Sullivan was really impressed with Sheary after the game. Obviously, we know Sheary has played for Sullivan, and family connection wise, I forgot what the connection is there. Something about, was he father-in-law for Sheary, if I'm not mistaken, something along those lines. Yeah, this is my exact thought, John Radigan, is that Perreault wanted the puck and was looking to drive play, and that is the biggest positive you could ever take away in this game. I wanted to see stuff like that from Gabe, and he showed it. I think they need more than one good defenseman, because the thing that did look a little alarming throughout this game is I need to see more, but I don't know if Scott Morrow's ready. And on top of that, um, I want another puck mover back there, because that was my biggest gripe this offseason is you didn't do enough for the decor. And on top of that as well, I really am wondering what you're gonna do, or what they're gonna do rather, with the second power play unit when you really don't have that good puck mover, which the power play as well, not good enough today. Connor Sheary, I think, could be though on a second unit too, which is also why I'm very okay with the fact that they, if they sign him, because I'd like to see him on that second power play unit, and maybe he could chip in a few goals here and there. And who knows, maybe you get the 40-point Connor Sheary that he was a few seasons ago, the 35 to 40-point guy. Who the hell knows? But if you get that from him on your third line, and you get more of what you saw from him tonight, where he's just consistently a pain in the ass, even if he's not scoring, which he did today, but you get my point. I'm taking that. I'm taking that every day of the week. I don't know what's up with the scheduling with the preseason. To me, it was stupid that they scheduled it on an NFL Sunday too. That was bizarre to me. I thought Morrow came on late in the second. He was better in the rookie games. Yeah, I mean, he was a little bit better late in the games. I just want to see a bit more for a guy that, is potentially going to make the team. I don't know if I agree with this. To me, Parsonen, I liked him more as the game progressed. I thought he kind of looked more of just like a passenger in that first period. I thought he was okay. He looked good in the second and third period, in my opinion. I don't know if I'd say he put an anvil on Laba's chances, because I think that Laba just, I like Laba. He's just not ready yet. Like, I'm not worried about Laba down the road. I think he's going to be a piece down the road. I just don't think he's ready. And I think Yuso Parsonen was going to make the team regardless over, well, I mean, contract wise, yeah. But I never really view Laba as making it. And I know I joked on Twitter about him being the 3C, which everyone, of course, went up in arms about because I can't speak positive or negative about this team without somebody being upset. But nonetheless, I never expected Laba to really make the team unless he like really, really, really impressed throughout the preseason. So again, I'm not concerned about his future, but to me, he was a long shot either way. Othmann does look AHL bound, is right. Lob, I'm not concerned about. Yeah, that's the thing. Like I'm not worried about it, but he was a long shot either way. That's how I look at it. Quick on that almost giveaway. Yikes. Yeah, that was not good. Dimitri, what's going on? Not sure if this was mentioned, but in my opinion, Sheary will make the team. He's a Sullivan favorite, by the way. I'm starting to think he's going to as well. And I know it's one preseason game, and it's kind of hard to say one way or the other with things. But based on what we've heard, based on what I saw today, I don't see why you don't let Sheary make the team right now, unless Brett Berard really, really impresses in these next few games coming up. But even then, I liked Sheary more than Radish by a long shot. I didn't like Radish at all today. Lots of giveaways in general. This was a very sloppy game. Like I said, it was a preseason game for sure, or I guess you could say a regular season Rangers game last year. Hopefully not the case this year, but who knows? Yeah, Sherry is fast. Like I said, Frank Vetrano light. Those were the vibes I got out there. I'm not telling you he's going to be Vetrano, but I got Frank Vetrano light vibes from him. I always hate comparing other players to one another because people think I mean, he's going to be a 50, 60 point guy like Vetrano is. I just mean like a discount version. I like Sheary, but I feel like we have so many bottom six guys that we could have used their contracts and spent it elsewhere. Parson wasn't bad. I just feel like I'm conditioned to hate him. You and I both, and maybe that's kind of why I'm not giving Parson as much credit as I should. Um, but at the end of the day, I still do think a lot of it was his line mates. I agree in terms of the part with the bottom six is loaded, but like I said, I'd rather the young guys get minutes in Hartford than sit here. The where I will have an issue with the Connor Sheary thing, though, I'm gonna make this clear. Where I'm gonna have an issue is if we start to see him in the top six, like this is a Jesper Foss try and hunt thing. That's when I will have problems with the Connor Sheary thing. As good as he's been, third liner. Third liner. That's what I view him as. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, we need a year of data of Laba in the AHL. I agree there. Yeah, this is the point I'm kind of getting at. Like the spark plug, just the speed, and again, the fact that he wasn't afraid to shoot every opportunity he had. Those were the things that I loved about Connor Sheary's game today. I didn't think he was great today, to be honest with you. I don't know if he's going to make it or not. I mean, based on what the pairings were today, to me, that's not assuring that he's going to make the team, which I get that it's one game and they'll, switch things up a little bit. But, I think that we need to, if he gets a game with like Vakanainen or if he gets a game with Susie, then we could start to maybe, talk about him making the team, but I don't know if they view him as a piece to make the team. Again, I want to see more from him. He was I thought he was okay at best. I just thought a lot of his decision making with the puck for a guy that, we talked about how he's good at moving the puck. I wanted to see a little bit more in that regard. I thought he was just a little slow with his decision making, which, Mike Sullivan in practice the other day was losing his mind about how slow they are. And you're in for a rude awakening, buddy. I just could say that. It's also hard to get high and low on these fringe prospects. Look how well Mancini played last year. We all want him here. He got sent down and then traded for Miller. Exactly. Yeah. It's like that's the thing. Guys could stand out and it might not mean much because we saw, like Matt said, what happened with Mancini last year, where he was good the first like 5 to 10 games or so. And then after that, I mean, it was not great. And he went back down to Hartford, got traded, and naturally started to do pretty well in Vancouver. But nonetheless, I'm gonna wrap things up here. I cannot believe I was able to talk about this for like 30 something minutes, to be honest with you. Getting the rust off, pause in terms of talking about this team in a game recap style. Next game, when is the next game? That's actually something that I should keep of note. I'd imagine it's probably Tuesday, right? Like that would make sense. Yeah, Tuesday against Boston at the Garden, and then they play the Islanders Thursday. Then we got a Monday game, so couple games coming up here on the slate, and I'll probably have more time to talk about this team since the Mets are a train wreck. Nonetheless, I'm gonna wrap things up here. Thank you everyone for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you guys are new to the channel. Turn on your notifications so you know when I upload or go live. And I'll see you guys in the next one.